This Rwandan entrepreneur, Henry Nyakarundi, is transforming how people charge phones in his country. Henry is the CEO of ARED, meaning African Renewable Energy Distributor, a tech firm using solar to bridge the digital divide in Africa through mobile solar-powered kiosks called Shiriki hubs.
Hard tech is hardware plus software built into one. You can call it deep tech or any other ways. And you know, if you look at the digital infrastructure space, internet, storage, computing, energy space, drone, EV, all this require hardware, some type of hardware. And unfortunately, when you look at all those innovations, they're dominated by foreign companies and not Africans. So there's massive gap in seeing innovators that are African that our government needs to solve by better promoting local innovators. Because if we don't start promoting local innovators with how young our population is in Africa and the demand of employment is massive, then we're going to have huge problems in the future. So there is huge opportunity, but there is also huge challenges that our government needs to solve to really bridge the gap and really promote local innovation over international foreign innovators. Just like any other countries do, whether it's Asia, Europe, or America, you know, you see American companies promoting, you know, their own innovation, but in Africa, we still have a long way to go.
In many rural and semi-urban areas in Africa, it has now become easier to own a mobile phone, and even though connectivity has increased in some countries, having constant electricity and internet access is still a major problem. Henry sought to solve this digital divide by developing a mini server platform to store digital applications closer to the users and minimize the cost of the internet. The solar kiosk was then built to power the technology and also provide additional services such as phone charging to become a one-stop shop platform.
We have a GPS module on the mini server, so we know where all the solar kiosks are at any given time. And the mini server can work as a cluster, as a group. So actually, third-party developer can actually build application on top of our infrastructure, right? So it's just a way for us to use this infrastructure for more than just the basic phone charging, distribution of digital content. We also want to use that same infrastructure to solve the storage and computing infrastructure gap that exists in Africa. And pretty much that's how the technology works. So we implement all these kiosks in different areas. The mini server can also be implemented in third-party kiosks, in retail places, within buses, and they all work as one. And of course, they're all connected through the internet. One of the biggest problems we have in Africa also is that most of the storage and computing infrastructure that we use as Africans is built outside the continent. So when you want to access YouTube, for example, that video you're accessing is stored in a server somewhere in Europe or in the US or somewhere else. So that information has to come all the way through your phone. But if you store that same video locally within your country, then the access cost is much cheaper. And that's one of the things we're trying to solve as a company.
But running a hard tech company like this isn't easy in Africa. Henry lists hardware, access to funding, and availability of key skill sets as part of the challenges they've had to deal with.
So we've had a lot of challenges developing this technology and this business. For example, on the hardware side, on the kiosk side, the kiosk we have today is our 4th generation kiosk, smart solar kiosk. And the reason the first 2 generations was terrible, because I'm not an engineer that was very naive about the process. The process is very complex when you're trying to develop a physical product. first of all, you have to find the right company to do so. And the first two companies didn't have the skill set. We tried to look locally in Africa. We couldn't find anybody. So we had to go overseas in Asia, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because it'll be great to see this here. We try to manufacture ourselves, but that was just too expensive. So those are the challenges we have on the hardware side. The other challenge you see in Africa is when you're trying to assemble the product in Africa, most countries trying to tax you on every component. But if you bring the physical product at one, especially if it's a solar product, you get tax exempt in some countries. And if you do get taxed, you only get taxed in that one product. So we also have challenges to solve that issue in Africa, where our tax regime in most countries are not developed to promote small local innovators. The other challenge is raising money. Most investors are not interested in Africa for multiple reasons. They don't know Africa. They think Africa is still back in a war days and having more challenges than we actually have. They don't see the opportunity yet, even though the media is changing. So fundraising is a big challenge.
The solar-powered kiosk is a novel innovation using renewable energy to power its solution. The kiosk, powered by solar panels, provided phone charging solutions and Wi-Fi.